What if the NHL changed their playoff format? Now, I do know that everybody collectively pretty much does not like the playoff format that Gary Bettman put in place with the divisional teams going head-to-head year after year. We pretty much have the same playoff matchups, which I guess creates rivalries, but at the end of the day, teams like Toronto and their fans constantly complain that we got two top 5 teams playing in round number 1. So what if the NHL went back to conference playoff matchups, meaning that we got the 1 seed facing the 8 seed in their respective conference and vice versa? How differently would the playoff matchups pan out, and who would go on and win the Stanley Cup? That is exactly what we're doing here. I also do have the updated rosters for free agency, so we do have Stammer, Brady Shea, and Jonathan Marchessault all in Nashville, and we are going to go ahead and see who dominates if Gary Bettman would get his head out of his ass and finally change the playoff format. Now, like I said, we do have the updated roster, so Jake Gensel will be in Tampa Bay. The Edmonton Oilers are also going to have Jeff Skinner as well as Victor Arvidsson on the roster, and we also picked up Matt Savoie, who's only like a 73 overall in this game, but in a few years, I'm sure he'll start on the roster. Florida pretty much lost like 3 key players in free agency and a backup goaltender, so they are very hurting in the sim. Obviously, Seattle did get Brendan Montour, 87 overall, as well as Chandler Stevenson, who was probably the worst contract of free agency. Obviously, the Predators were probably the most aggressive team in free agency, signing Steven Stamkos, who is a 90 overall. Also, Jonathan Marchessault and Brady Shea, so 3 key pieces to the Preds that could honestly turn their franchise around and maybe win a Stanley Cup in one of these earlier seasons that we simulate. But we are basically just going to go on. I don't know if I'm going to go 5-6 years, one of the two. We'll see how it goes and see who goes on and wins the Stanley Cup year after year with the new playoff format in place in the NHL. Now, at the end of season number 1, the Boston Bruins will go on and be the best team, winning 56 games, followed by Edmonton, who had a very good regular season, 52 wins. Colorado was up there, no surprise there. LA Kings were a little bit of a surprise. Carolina was up there, Winnipeg, Dallas at the bottom. We have the Anaheim Ducks, San Jose, who we all know is pretty bad. Anaheim only won 22 games. Gotta be honest, that's kind of rough, as well as Arizona. We have predictably the teams that should be at the bottom of the NHL being at the bottom. Connor McDavid is going to lead the entire NHL in scoring with 113 points, followed by Draisaitl, who had 109, so the dynamic duo back at it again. Matthews was up there at 104. Eichel had 101. Jason Robertson had a good season, as well as Breadman, Panarin, Braden Point was up there. And speaking of goals, Matthews will dominate, 55 on the season, followed by Ovi's 52. McDavid had 50. Pasta was up there, ranting. If we take a look at defensemen, Adam Fox, 70 apples and 85 points. Quinn Hughes was up there with 80. Makar had 78. Evan Bouchard, pretty good season by him. And if we take a look at the goaltenders, Skin Daddy Stuart Skinner had 46 wins on the season, not 56. Followed by Cam Talbot, who had 41. Swayman was up there at 40. And for shutouts, it will go to Cam Talbot, having 6, also having a .917 save percentage. Okay. As here we go in year number 1, this is our Stanley Cup playoff bracket. We have a bunch of different teams. Obviously, it's going to be different seeding. We got Boston, New Jersey as the 1 and 8 seeds. Tampa Bay, Montreal, Carolina, Toronto, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. And now it is time to see who goes on and ends up taking home the Stanley Cup in season number 1. And in season number 1, the Edmonton Oilers will go all the way in Game 7, rewrite the wrong that was last season, and take home the Stanley Cup, beating Tampa Bay. Now, Toronto did make the conference finals, so maybe their fans do have a point that their division is just more harder than everybody else. Pause, no Diddy. This is not a Diddy party. Connor McDavid is going to have a postseason for the ages, leading in goals with 19, I believe, breaking the record and scoring 36 points. All by Braden Point, who had 30. Kucherov was up there. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had 27. Draisaitl, surprisingly, was pretty quiet, only 11 goals and 25 points. Matthews, I mean, he played 17 games, had a pretty good postseason overall. And Stuart Skinner, a .919 save percentage, 1 shutout, and 16 wins, the most important part. Skin Daddy now is a Stanley Cup champion. Connor McDavid is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Maurice Richard will go to Matthews. The Norris to Adam Fox. Braden Point is going to win the Lady Byng. Fantilli actually will go on and win the Calder. McDavid the Conn Smythe. Skinner the Vezina. Shout out to Skin Daddy, and the Selke will go to Ryan O'Reilly. As a very successful year number 1, I get to see my Oilers go all the way, and now we're just going to keep on simulating, see maybe the Oilers will go and create a dynasty in this sim, or maybe a new team will take takeover? Who knows? The Ottawa Senators moved up from 6th place all the way to 1st to being the winners of the NHL draft lottery. Anaheim fell down to 3rd from 1. Now in free agency, probably the best free agent available is Matt Duchene at an 86 overall. Zadorov's a free agent. Sprong is out there. Gustafson, Jonathan Drouin. And if we take a look at the goalies, Samsonov is the highest rated one at an 84 overall. So not the greatest free agency, but I mean, some of these players can help a team get over the top in the NHL. Also, if you guys do enjoy videos like this, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you get notified when I go live or post a video. Sometimes YouTube is a little wonky with it and doesn't actually notify you. So if not, make sure you're in the Discord. The link is always in the description and it's always in my chat when I go live. I always make sure to notify everybody in the Discord when I do go live, just in case YouTube does not notify you. Not going to lie, YouTube does need to fix their shit. Now, at the end of the second season, Edmonton would go on. They are the defending champs and they're the President's Trophy winners, winning 54 games, followed by Vancouver, who I mean did have 51 wins. Tampa Bay was up there, Boston, Ottawa, and Chicago. Now at the bottom, we have the Minnesota Wild, only winning 30 games, followed by Seattle. Philly was bad. Dallas, that is a big surprise. Only 31 wins for the Stars. Maybe they did lose Duchene in the offseason, so that could be a very tough loss, but still, they should be able to at least make the postseason. Now, for the entire NHL, Nikita Kucherov will go absolutely off, leading in goals with 68 and points with 122. What a season by Kuch. Followed by McDavid, who had 119. Nylander was up there. Matthews had a very good season. Draisaitl was good. Jake Gensel had 34 goals and 105 points, playing alongside Braden Point. And if we take a look at the goal side, Kuch will lead with 68. Ovi had 63 as a 39-year-old, and McDavid had 59. The scoring is insane in the NHL right now. Then Matthews had a pretty good year with 53. Cole Caulfield was up there. Brock Besser had a good year. And if we take a look at the defenseman, Makar is going to lead 89 points. One more than Erik Karlsson, who is 34 years old. Adam Fox is up there as well. For goalies, Stuart Skinner going to lead in wins with 43 yet again, followed by Demko and Vasi. And on the shutout side, Aiden Hill will lead with 7 on the season. Also a .915 save percentage. And here we go. This is our year number 2 playoff bracket. Edmonton and Nashville, a 1A playoff matchup. Should be very fun. We got Chicago, LA, Vancouver, San Jose, Tampa Bay, and Washington. Honestly, in real life, I wish the NHL would go back to the 1-8 seeding. It would make things a lot better. We would have different matchups, and I wouldn't have to sit and watch the Edmonton Oilers dominate the LA Kings 3 straight years in a row. And the Edmonton Oilers will go back-to-back, winning their 2nd straight Stanley Cup of the video, beating Pittsburgh now in Game 7. Crosby had one final dance, and I guess passed the torch off to McDavid, who just picked up his 2nd of his career. And oh my God, if this is what it's like, if we go back to the 1-8 format, the Oilers just straight up dominate everybody, I'm here for it, honestly. I'm all here for it. Jeff Skinner will put up 17 goals and 37 points in the postseason, was literally the leader of the Edmonton Oilers in scoring. Followed by Draisaitl, who had 13 goals, 36 points. McDavid at 13 and 31. Crosby was good, though. In his 25 games that he played, Malkin had a good run. Nuge, Matthew Savoie, there he is. He's an 87 overall at 21 years of age, putting up 5 goals and 23 points in the postseason. And for Stuart Skinner, man, 3 shutouts, 16 wins, and a .914 save percentage. Nikita Kucherov will win the Ted Lindsay, Maurice Richard, Art Austin Hart Trophy, the Norris to Erik Karlsson, the Calder to Bedsy. I guess he didn't play in year number 1. Leon will win the Conn Smythe, the Vezina to Jeremy Swayman, and the Selke will go to Anze Kopitar. And after a very bad season, the Dallas Stars will get the number 1 overall pick, which I believe might be Gavin McKenna at this point in year number 2. So that would absolutely change the landscape of the Western Conference. And in free agency, the big guy that's available is Mitch Marner. The Toronto Maple Leafs did let him walk. A 91 overall for Hagee is available, as well as Patrick Kane, David Perron, JVR is there, Adam Larson, Sam Bennett. So Florida is hurting, and Freddie Anderson, as well as Aiden Hill, Robin Leonard, and Marc-Andre Fleury are the goaltenders available. Edmonton Oilers continue to absolutely dominate this sim. 57 wins, being the best team in the league, followed by Florida. Ottawa was up there, LA, New York, and Toronto. At the bottom, we do have the Buffalo Sabres making that horrible trade for Ryan McLeod for Matthew Savoie. That is awful. We straight up fleeced them, honestly. Hire Jeff Jackson or right the hell now. Montreal was bad. Seattle, St. Louis, and Nashville. Wow, Nashville's at the bottom of the NHL after having a very aggressive free agency, signing Stammer, Marchessault, and Shea. And it does not look like it really panned out, to be honest. Willie Nee will lead everybody in scoring with 114 points, followed by McDavid, who had 111. Kucherov was up there. Matthews had a good season. Sam Reinhart had 102 points for, I believe, the first time in his career. Teuvo Teravainen was great. Bedard finally broke through, 49 goals, 100 points. Speaking of the goals, Davo will lead with 56. Brock Besser had 52. Kucherov was up there with 50. Bedsy, Matthews, Patrick Fortnite, Line had 45, so he's back to being in his prime. As Adam Fox will dominate the year as a defenseman, 20 goals, 101 points, by far leading all D-man, as Skinner is going to dominate the goalies. 45 wins, did not have a single shutout, as it would be a tie between Wall, Swayman, Allmark, Bobrovsky, and Shesterkin, who all had 6 on the season. Another year with the 1-8 playoff format, and it'll be interesting to see if the Oilers go on and three-peat. If they do, that would be absolutely bananas. They're going to face Chicago in the first round, who are the 8th seed, who are getting better, but I mean, they're not really in their prime yet. A very young team, inexperienced team as well. And the Oilers have done it, becoming the first team to three-peat since, I believe, the Islanders way back in the 80s, winning 4 straight as they swept the Florida Panthers in the finals, getting the revenge over 2023, or actually 24. I even forget the year that we're in right now. That's crazy. As starting off, the video cannot go any better. 3 straight victories for the Oilers, 3 straight Stanley Cups, as Connor McDavid will dominate, 10 goals, 31 points. Jesper Bratt had 27. Draisaitl was up there. Timo Meier was good. Jack Hughes had a hell of a playoff run, 23 points in 18 games. Jeff Skinner, 12 goals and 20 points, an absolute steal from Buffalo, as Stuart Skinner, 3 shutouts, a .920 save percentage, 15 wins, and he's only an 87 overall. There it is. The Edmonton Oilers have three-peated. Connor McDavid now has 3 Stanley Cups in his NHL career. McDavid will take home the Ted Lindsay and Maurice Richard, as well as the Hart Trophy. The Art Ross will go to Nylander. The Norris will go to Adam Fox. The Conn Smythe to McDavid. Linus Ullmark will win the Vezina, and the Selke to Robert Thomas. Shout out to the Montreal Canadiens winning the draft lottery and being able to select first overall. Dallas went from 14th to 4th. Man, their luck is insane in the sim. Evgeny Malkin is the top free agent available at an 87 overall, as well as Adrian Kempe. Warren Fogle somehow has grown to an 86. Jacob True was up there. Matheson, Marchman, Cam Fowler. And if we take a look at the goalies, Connor Ingram at an 87 overall is the best goaltender available. Finally, a different team is at the top of the NHL standings, being the Toronto Maple Leafs, 52 wins. Chicago is up there, so they're finally a good team now with Bedard in close to his prime. The Ottawa Senators were up there. Boston was good. New Jersey, Colorado, Tampa Bay at the bottom. We do have the Buffalo Sabres. The Calgary Flames are bad. And the Edmonton Oilers, after winning 3 straight Stanley Cups, only won 37 games. Nikita Kucherov will lead all players in scoring with 115 points, followed by Jack Hughes, who was up there. McDavid still having a great season at 30 years old. Braden Point had a good year. Austin Matthews only had 102 points. And Jakey Gensel, 43 goals, 102. 32-year-old winger, that's pretty goddamn good. As Ovi, 41 years old, will put up 57 goals on the season. Taking a look here, the dude has over 1,000 goals in his career. Absolutely insane. He just does not want to retire, I guess. His Curtis Exteby guy had 51, Bedard 49, Kucherov 47, and Rantanen 45. For goalies, taking a look, Joseph Wall will lead with 42 wins. And for shutouts, it will go to Igor Shesterkin, having 5 on the season. Another year, another 1-8 conference seeding playoff bracket. So let's see who goes on and eventually wins the Stanley Cup, as we will have a brand new winner after the Oilers dominating for 3 straight seasons. And the Boston Bruins will go on, beat the Chicago Blackhawks in 6 games in the finals to win their first Stanley Cup since 2011. Shout out Chicago and Bedard actually making it all that way, as well as San Jose making the conference finals. Just a brand new era in the NHL, as we have very young teams like Chicago and San Jose starting to put things together. Connor Bedard will lead the postseason in scoring, 12 goals, 26 points. Pasta had 24. Marchand was up there. William Eklund had a very good postseason run, as well as Teravainen. Charlie Coyle was good. Lindholm, and for the goalie that won all the games, it was Swayman. 2 shutouts, a .930 save percentage, as well as 16 victories. Jack Hughes will win the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy. The Art Ross to Nikita Kucherov and Maurice Richard to Ovi. The Norris to Cale Makar, as Brad Marchand will take home the Conn Smythe. Allmark the Vezina and the Selke will go to Robert Thomas for the 2nd straight season. And the Calgary Flames will be able to select first in the NHL draft lottery. Edmonton they grew from 8th to 2nd, so that is a very big positive for them. They're going to get up a great prospect they can pick from, as 2 Alberta teams will select 1st and 2nd in the draft. Now we are going to simulate one more full season, see who goes on and wins the Stanley Cup, as well as all the other great stuff. So far, the simulation has been pretty cool. I mean, I saw my Edmonton Oilers literally three-peat. That has never happened in any video I've done, I'm pretty sure. Boston obviously won last season, and now in the final season, let's see who's going to go on and take it home. Now, at the end of the 5th and final season, the New Jersey Devils will win 56 games, being the best team in the league, followed by Colorado. Toronto is up there, Tampa Bay, Chicago, who of course are going to be good for a very long time, as well as the Vancouver Canucks. At the bottom, we have the Buffalo Sabres. Pittsburgh, obviously their downfall was to be very predictable. Seattle, Calgary was bad. Anaheim still has not gotten off the bottom of the league. Nathan MacKinnon will have the most points in the NHL at 115. Pettersson was right behind him with 114. Matthews was up there. Kyle Connor had a good season. Rantanen, Willem Nylander had 106 points. McDavid, a very low output season by him. And Eklund, 29 goals, 103 points. And shout out Macklin Celebrini on the San Jose Sharks. 38 goals, finally coming to his prime. He's only 22, so he's still very, very young, as Kucherov will have the most goals at 52, McDavid 51, and Kyle Connor 50. Joey Decorder will have the most wins at 45 for the Colorado Avalanche, and for the most shutouts, it will go to Stuart Skinner, having 7 on the season. And this is it, our 5th and final playoff run of the video. Let's see who goes on and ends up taking home the Stanley Cup. And Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks will get it done in Game 7 over the Toronto Maple Leafs, as they lose again, another Game 7. This one definitely hurts more than anything. Chicago, Bedard, probably like what, 24, 25 years old at this point in the prime of his career, finally gets his first Stanley Cup. Bedsy, of course, will dominate, 18 goals, 34 points. Max Domi had 30 points on the Toronto Maple Leafs as an 85 overall, outscored Matthews, what the hell? As well as Teuvo Teravainen. Nicholas Robertson was pretty good. Nylander was okay, I guess. Pontus Holmberg was all right. And Philip Gustafsson only had a .908 save percentage, no shutouts, so he was not really the reason why Chicago won. And there it is over the course of the video. Obviously, the Oilers dominated early on, winning 3 straight. Boston last season, and then finally the Chicago Blackhawks. McKinnon will take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Maurice Richard will go to Kucherov. The Norris to Cale Makar. The Conn Smythe to Connor Bedard, as Joey Decord will win the Vezina, and the Selke again will go to Robert Thomas. And that is going to do it for this video. I have gone ahead, changed the playoff format, and I guess we had some different winners. The Edmonton Oilers straight up were a dynasty, winning 3 straight. The Bruins got one, which was honestly very surprising. And the one that was not surprising was seeing Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks finally get it done. So if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you leave some support on it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys would like to see next. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Rappy Willie.